Hey, welcome back to another episode of Simple Truth Television. Today is February 19th, 2021. Yesterday in the NBA, LeBron James finally reached 35,000 points for his career, and he did it against the Brooklyn Nets, right? I want you guys to notice how many points were scored in the game the moment he reached 35,000 points. So notice here, the Brooklyn Nets have 62 points, the Lakers have 50, and LeBron James is at the free throw line. So look, there it is, right? That is his 51st point for the Lakers, right? And what is 51 plus 62? Well, it's that magical number in the NBA. It sums to 113. So the moment he reached 35,000 points, there was 113 total points scored in that game. And the reason that matters is because 113 is a very important number to the NBA. The National Basketball Association sums to 113. Remember, James Harden joined the Brooklyn Nets on January 13th of this year, 1/13, like 113. But Steve Nash is also 113. He's the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. That's a number that connects to Kobe Bryant, to Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Speaking of 113, we just had a huge ritual with Michael Jordan yesterday. Both of the teams he played for, the Chicago Bulls and the Washington Wizards, they both became 5-9 at home because in Gematria, Michael Jordan sums to 59. But that's a different story. You can check out that video. That was the last video before this one. But Kobe Bryant, this has been a big number with Kobe Bryant as well. He got drafted. He was the 13th pick in the first round, like 113. He made his debut in the NBA on 11/3, November 3rd. Always a big number. This number is also the number associated with deception. And it's pretty obvious why, because the NBA is a deception. All these games are all rigged and scripted, every single one. You can clearly see the technology drive that ball in if you're paying attention. Just look at the free throw. It's obvious that it's something driving the ball inside the basket. That's how you can manipulate the outcomes of these games. Look how straight that ball goes. It's just straight in. You guys ever seen like an NBA player miss the open dunk? It's because the rim prevents the ball from going in. It's not that these players can't dunk the ball. It's that the technology is so strong that even if you try to dunk it, if it's not supposed to go in, it's not going to go in. But the number 35 is a huge number with LeBron James, and it's also a huge number with the Catholic Church. Catholic sums to 35 in Gematria. King James sums to 35. He just became 4-6 in the NBA Finals at the age of 35. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the real King James became a Freemason at the age of 35. I will have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened because all this stuff is biblical. I mean, the guy name is King James. There's a King James Bible. You put two and two together. You tell me if there's a connection. But the Brooklyn Nets, we had the Brooklyn Nets to win the game. They was an underdog by 3 points this game. And this was a easy riddle. The Lakers became 9-5 at home. Los Angeles Lakers sums to 95 in Gematria. At the half, the Brooklyn Nets had 64 points. And right at that moment when they scored 64 points, I said, you know what? I'm going to call this game. So I went on Patron. I put perfect day because I was just 100% sure that the Brooklyn Nets was going to win this game. Why? Well, because Brooklyn Nets equals 64. James Harden equals 64. They kept talking about Anthony Davis in the whole game, and the reason why the Lakers wasn't as dominant is because Anthony Davis was out. Anthony Davis also sums to 64. Speaking of Anthony Davis, look up his birthday. We're talking about that number 113, right? Anthony Davis was born on 11/3, exactly 42 weeks before LeBron James. And LeBron James is 42. And of course, 42 is a number stamped on black people in a negative way, right? But so the 51st point to score 113 total points in the game, Mr. LeBron James makes history at 113 strikes again. And notice the Nets, they picked up their 19th win of the season. They also won with 109 points, which in numerology is just like 19. They also scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. But 19 is the 8th prime number. And they won the 19th game of the season and won their 8th road game. 19-8. Always go together. Prime number relationships. So those are the things that we pointed out on Patreon today. So the Brooklyn Nets, they win 5 games in a row, and LeBron James makes history. And what I've noticed is that LeBron James, every time he's going to have these career games like this, these milestones, for some reason the team always loses. Remember last year when he surpassed Kobe on the all-time scoring list? The Lakers got blown out by the Philadelphia 76ers. And think about the mockery of that, right? So on January 25th, a day before Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash alongside his daughter, LeBron James surpasses him on the all-time scoring list in his hometown of Philadelphia. I mean, how can that be a coincidence? You guys have to wake up. These games are all rigged. They are all scripted. The only way this stuff works is if you script every single game to the T. Everything has to be scripted. Every play, every point, everything. And the way they do it is by using technology. Just because you guys are not aware of the technology that they are using, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's clear and obvious, if you are awake, that they are using technology in the NBA. Just like it's also obvious that every single player has to be in on the rigging. You guys take care, and I'll see you next time.